Hello. Oh wow, that was hot. Sorry about that. Hey, why beta 1? Why beta? Mirafano? Beta? What button am I trying to press? I don't know what you mean. What did I write in my title? Oops. That's not supposed to be there. Godot 4.3 audio stream interactive first look. Why beta 1? I actually don't know. I don't know what you mean by that. Also, this jumper is a little bit too hot in this room. It's winter, but like my office still like hits like 25 degrees. You have beta 1 on preview. I still don't understand. Wrong camera. I still don't understand. But we'll roll with it. I have beta 1 on preview. First look. Anyway, so a couple of weeks ago, I looked at Godot 4.3 beta 1, and now we've got beta 2. Not much has changed really because it's feature lock, but I looked at one of the new audio stream nodes, and that was a lot of fun. And I thought we could look at the other one. There's 2, there might even be 3. Give me a second, let's open it up. Dev snapshot. We have got stream playlist, stream synchronized, and stream interactive. Now we looked at stream synchronized. I'm interested in stream interactive because I feel like there's an opportunity to build out like some cool effects with that, and they also like hint to basically being able to compete with WY's Fmod. And if you don't know what those are like frameworks, add-ons. I'm actually not entirely sure. Proprietary sound effect engine for authoring tool video games. Like I've never used this tool. I'm aware it exists, right? And that you can use it to make really cool things, sounds in video games, professional audio control with real time with Fmod Studio 2.2. I don't know how this works, but I mean, it just kind of looks like a door to me, but whatever. Kind of looks like Ableton, to be honest. Maybe it's built off that. I don't know. Anyway, so I want to learn how to use this because I like music and I like Godot. So what a great combination. We can work with that. Where's my desktop? I have not been showing my desktop this entire time. Where's it? Where? Beep, 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 beep. This button here. We're rolling. Yeah, so Audio Stream Interactive is the one that I'm interested in. So we're going to get amongst that. I'm going to turn down that desktop audio. We're going to have to disable the background music at some point. Not that I have good background music, but we will have to disable it. Because, well, you know, we're going to be doing stuff with music. So that is the strategy today. Let us have a look at the project I got working in. I've got this open already. This is essentially the enemy template that I was working on a couple of weeks ago before I started working on the jam, and it's pretty basic. This guy, if you enter in his area of effect, he'll start shooting at you, and that's great. That's fine. That's all we need to do something with music. What I want to do is essentially, once we're in his area of effect and he's actually chasing us and shooting at us, he doesn't actually shoot, we can elevate the music. So we can put in a transition and then play the battle music. I guess you would say play the combat music, do something to let the player know that they're entering into a situation where they're in trouble. So like a lot of that, you know, when it comes to sound design and games, especially in FPS games, like at least I've noticed, is that you've got some sort of baseline, and then when there's a wave of enemies coming, something is gonna elevate it up, and you're gonna kill all the enemies. And once that happens, the music subsides and it goes down and it gets lower. And so we're gonna try to emulate that in a basic way, obviously, because we've only got like a 2.5 hour stream going. So we're gonna try to get that going. I might need to like fix this guy's code up because he does not shoot, and I can't kill him. So there's a little bit of work to be done there, but at the very least, we can start experimenting. And I think it's probably going to be best done with like a separate scene that just uses like a node, and then we can attach an audio stream interactive, right? Audio stream. And it's just going to be like an audio stream player because this is background music, right? So we don't need to have it 3D. And then here we can choose audio stream interactive, right? And then we've got like initial clip, and we've got like a bunch of clips, and we can just add as many clips as we want. And you know, how we play them and when they play is entirely up to us. And the cool thing about it is these can actually be audio stream interactive. So you can like nest this indefinitely. You could have like, oh, we're in the shop, we're in the world, we're in the whatever, and here is the audio stream interactive that is within that layer. And you can go as deep as you want with that, which is really cool. But obviously with the more complexity leads to, you know, more script. So I'm going to set this one up as the audio controller, something like that. And I'm going to attach a script to it. Audio controller, that's fine. Save the scene as the audio controller. And I guess I don't need that. I've got the audio stream player. I will need access to that, obviously. And we need to get some music to populate that. We're going to have like a bass clip, so background, essentially. Or I guess we just call it ambient. And then battle transition. At least in my head, I might need to change these as I go in. And then this is battle. I'm going to need to find clips for this. I didn't actually do any research. I should have found some clips that I wanted to use at first. And then battle ended, right? Something like that. And what we can do is essentially just bring that in to music. I need another folder. Just put this over on the other one. Oh, where do I keep all my music? I've got a lot of it. Game assets. I've got sounds. Bring this back. Okay, I'm gonna pause the music and I'll bring the desktop audio back up to regular levels so that you guys can hear what I'm hearing. And we're just gonna pick out some music. I think Ovani has a lot of stuff. Horror music pack. No, we did that last time. Science fiction FX sound pack. No, we want music, not FX. Industrial music. Synth fantasies music pack. Simple magic sound effects. Vehicle sound effects. Casual mobile chiptune volume pack. Computers cyberpunk FX. Electronic ambient music. Electronic music pack. What's in the industrial music pack? And so with these packs, they've got like intensity 1, 2, and main. So this sounds pretty good. You know, it's probably a little bit too intense for background music. Pretty good. Intensity 2. And then a break cut. Yeah. We bring that in. We can do that. So this is a break cut. 60 seconds. It's just the time. Right? Okay. And this is everything together. Now there's not really, there's a cut 30. That kind of just sounds the same as main, right? Sounds the same to me. And so you've got intensity 1, intensity 2. There's not really a transition. This is a good pack. I'll take that. And I'll just create a new folder here, music samples. So I can bring this in and we can sort of like play around with it. Music samples, open in file manager, and I'll paste that one in, break 9, and I'll just import that in. What else have we got? We've got nightlife. So the thing is, like, I guess I'm going to have to like think about how to transition between them. We might not need to go to that level of intensity or level of complexity, I should say. Yeah, okay, cool. I like this one too. So maybe we can just create zones that we can walk between to test this stuff out. Music samples. So we start with these two. Okay. So previously, this used to be like, sounds like from Prey. Yeah, for sure. It has that vibe to it. I love that game. So we've got a bunch of streams. Yeah, okay, so let's keep it basic. We've got ambient. We're not going to have a transition. We'll just have ambient battle, and not even really battle ended. It's just going to be ambient. So we'll have like, and maybe you just don't even go to like ambient and battle. We can do that. And then rather than saying battle ended, we can create another area for being like non-combat zone. I don't know, like I'm just spitballing ideas for names here. And so we can have break 9, which is the industrial stuff. So we can have in intensity 1 as the stream here, and we can have the main as the stream for the battle, which is exactly the same. And we should just be able to clip between the two of them. I actually don't know what it's going to sound like. We can always use the synchronizer to sort of do that. And then we've got the non-combat, so we can go industrial nightlife, intensity 1, right? Which is a lot lower. Versus, this sounds like Mass Effect to me. This gives me Mass Effect vibes. Okay. So, and then obviously the battle. We'll see how it goes transitioning between that. I'm sort of just experimenting tonight. Okay, so we've got the audio stream player. And we've got the interactive. What do we do? So I guess we need to have like, I don't know, actually. And also the editor is not set up to be type. Warnings, general, GD script, untyped, error. Right, pass error, audio stream player has no static type. Thank you. It still doesn't actually give it a type. Is that a bug? I don't know. Audio stream player. Anyway, that's weird. Okay, so now that we've got that, we can go func. I don't know if I need a ready function. Also, it's not doing types on the. I'm gonna have to turn that warning off. Oh well, let's just put it to warn. Is there advanced settings on this? Shader language, treat warnings as errors. No, okay. I don't know. Yeah, that's weird. I'm so used to it just automatically doing it for me. Anyway, let us sort of pull up the audio stream player. I want to get to the audio stream interactive. I'm going to need to probably close that. I think it's closed Control W. Audio stream player, search help, audio stream interactive. Let's see what's there. Okay, so we've got switch to clip by name. And then we've also got initial clip as ambient. So what happens if I just say play? It just plays ambient, right? Cool. All right, that makes sense. And then it's switched to clip. This was way more complicated the first time I looked at it. It had playback component of audio stream interactive, contains functions to change the current played clip. It had so much going on. Oh, here we go. Audio stream interactive. Wait, go back. What is the difference? Audio stream playback, audio stream playback interactive. Oh, is there a node now? Audio stream. No, there isn't. So what? Playback component. So, I can just go switch to clip name, switch to clip by name. So I can take the index or I can take the name. That's really easy. But does it know, like, how can I get to those methods? Or like, it's not clear. Stream playback interactive. Because I looked at audio stream interactive and it was like, I saw all this and I was like, damn, that's a lot to take in. I don't know if I can do that on the last stream. EMS, truth or dare? I always choose truth. I'm not doing no dares. I learned the hard way in school. Like you don't do dare. Truth. Give me truth. I promise to tell the truth. Most of the time. Depends what you ask me. No, I'll tell you the truth. What you got for me? Ooh. Okay. Audio stream playback. Switch to clip. Are you still making the zombie game? Yeah, I will be working on it probably after the jam review ends. I don't know. We'll see. I will be working on it because I have a hard time. Like, I want to do this stream because I want to make content for the YouTube, but also I want to make that game. It's just harder to make content for that. I need to make a devlog. I don't know. There's a lot. I float around a bit. Then what am I making? Did you not read the title? What's in my description for YouTube? I'm probably like misleading people. Hey? Oh no, it's just basic. Okay, so what am I doing? I am looking at Godot beta 4.3. Godot 4.3 beta. There's a new node called Audio Stream Interactive, which we are very interested in to find out like how that works and its applications for the future, because number one, I think it can be really useful in terms of creating feedback for the player when they're playing the game. So like, say even for example, in the zombie game, when you're spawning many zombies, do you guys hear that static? Hang on a second. Okay, I fixed it. So say for example, even in the zombie game, there are many, hi Garrick, how are you? Welcome to the stream. There are many zombies, and what you really want to do is have a music system that's reacting to everything that's happening on screen. So say the zombies are getting stronger, the zombie boss spawned, for example. So if the zombie boss spawned, you want something to change within the music to elevate that power, to give the player a feeling of intensity or a feeling of fear, whatever it is you're trying to evoke from them. I think music is probably one of the best ways to do that, especially when you're moving into a phase of the game that is an increase in difficulty or risk to the player. You can communicate that really clearly with sound, I think. So we're looking at this because I think it's going to be useful for the future. And we're doing it in a way that's sort of like fairly relaxed. So we're not working in a project moment. We've got Godot 4.3. Like, you don't want to transition your main project over to the beta. So Mr. Forgettable isn't here. Well, I mean, he'll show up eventually. He always is. Garrick is here though. Okay. So we're just finding the clip, switch to clip. So I guess audio stream player switch to clip. So I get function switch to clip. I need to be able to call this because I'm going to do it as an yeah. Yes, I'm here. Switch to clip. And it's going to take a player, what are these called? Clip name. Okay. Clip name. And it's a string, I guess. And we return void. And then we just call audio stream player switch to clip. How do I get access to that function? That's the question I'm having right now. Because it's audio stream playback interactive, a playback component of audio stream interactive, right? Clip count initial clip, add clip, audio stream interactive, the playback interactive. I don't know how to get to that. If I get the stream, is that what it is? Maybe I need to get access to the stream. So the playback stream. Sometimes it can be a bit confusing when you're working in the beta. You're not exactly sure what you need to look for. Playback stream equals audio stream player dot stream, right? And then can I call switch to clip on the playback stream? Like the function is called switch to clip. playback contains a function to change the currently played clip. The thing is, Mordechai Mellis, how are you? You're low bat right now. Oh, well, time to get a charger. So the battle and the ambient really need to be in like they need to be in an audio stream player. We'll worry about it in a second. Trying to find a charger. I have like so many cables on my desk. I have like a USB-C. I have a lightning cable. I've got like, oh man. I've also got like USB, like the old Android charger for like, I broke my entire body. How'd you do that, bro? Switch to clip. I don't know if this is going to work. And then clip name. So we need to save this as an auto load. Number 1, plugins, auto, globals, path, to add a script, audio controller. We'll add that. So now that we can access it, I guess we can function play, and then it's void, and I'm not even sure what new things came out with this new player. There's nothing new, but we are looking at a new feature that I haven't looked at before. Who the heck is Girik is here? You don't know Girik is here? He's like, everyone knows that Girik is here. Gonna switch. Okay. Play. Do I need a play function where I can just go audio stream player dot play? I guess. Playback type, stream sample, switch to clip, parameters. Oh, I just spotted you. Switch to clip. I see you. Okay. That name sounds like a girl. Girl? Well, I mean, Girik, how is it? Who cares, bro? Like, it's just a YouTube handle. Don't worry about it. Okay, so I see this now. And switch to clip. So maybe property parameter. Parameters, switch to clip. So maybe I can get it to that. And it will switch. Set parameter, switch to clip. It doesn't clear. I don't know. I mean, that's the beauty of it, isn't it? Play. Let's go. I'm very perplexed about like how this is going to work. Switch to clip. I guess I just need to go switch to clip, and then I need to pass in a name. So we'll go with, I think, battle, is it? So let's just try to see if we can switch to that. And I'll have a ready function going. What new things came with this player? Okay, just to explain again then, we have the audio stream interactive, which sort of gives us the ability to create multiple streams. So you can see over here that I have, okay, Mordechai, stop asking if people are girls. It's weird. So we've got the audio stream interactive, which allows us to have multiple clips, and we can switch to them anytime we want. I believe it'll play from the start, but what we can do is essentially say, okay, we've got the ambient, and here is the battle music. It's going to play now. I'm going to call this function switch to clip, pass in the name of that particular clip, and it will play that when you set it to. So say you start combat with an enemy. Because I'm scared of girls, it's the internet, bro. You can't see anybody, just their names on a screen. Playing, and then, yeah. So you've got, so I've got 3 here. I've got ambient, battle, non-combat. So we'll see what we can do. with these different things and play around with it. Like right now, I don't even know how to call the function to change the clips. I know that there's a switch to clip method, right? I can see it here, but this is audio stream playback interactive class, and it's a playback component of audio stream interactive. So I'm not entirely sure how I get to that. I'm assuming that I get the stream because it's an audio stream interactive, and then I can call that function, but we're going to find out. You know, so that's the goal, and I suspect this will probably crash when I run it because this is kind of like, I don't know. Dude, how many accounts do you have? Okay, let's run. I don't hear anything, so I'd say, oh wait, I forgot to put in the function, the ready function, func ready, and we'll call switch to clip. And, oh no, we're going to call play. Okay. That's the function name that we want. And also, I just remembered it's like switch instead of swift clip. Hey, oolalol, welcome to the stream. Let's play. And we collapse. Cannot play on a null value. Audio stream player. Okay. Interesting. Why is it null? Stream, audio stream player null. What? Oh, we got a lot of stuff going in the debug. Has no static return type, has no static return type, hit scan. Jesus Christ, bro. Okay, node not found audio stream player relative to root audio controller. Okay. / want some more special zombies. No, we're good right now. We are focusing on this. So we need to find out why my audio stream player wasn't detected. Probably because we're the only ones typing here. Yeah, okay. I know that. And we don't have that many viewers. It's all good. Don't stress. There's only 6 people in the chat. Okay. And okay, so we got the audio stream player. Doesn't exist. No, not found audio stream relative to root audio controller. Excuse me? It's right here. Is it because I typed it wrong? Maybe that's why. Can't believe it on a null instance. All right. Fair enough. We can set it right before you do that. For some reason, I guess it's an onReady thing. It doesn't exist yet. And it doesn't feel right. Like something is wrong here. What are we looking at? What are we looking here? This is the audio stream player interactive. Audio stream player, audio stream player. Am I going crazy? Did it get renamed? Like, it's the same, so why isn't it detecting it? Node not found relative to root audio controller. Audio controller, no, it shouldn't need to be because this script is on the parent's like res. Did I potentially, I loaded the script instead of the scene, I'd say. So if we load the scene instead, it'll work. Well, we'll get a little further. Okay. We're hearing music. But switch to clip didn't work because the function is not found. Is inside tree. Let me try that again. Non-existent function. Switch to clip in audio stream interactive. Okay, so it's not audio stream playback interactive. A playback component of audio stream interactive. So what about then if we just call it on the audio stream player? I bet you have played your game already, maybe. No, non-existent function, switch to clip on audio stream player. Interesting. So how do I get to it? Switch to clip. Parameters, switch to clip. Property parameter. Copy value. Copy path. Parameters, switch to clip. Is this kind of like the audio tree, no, the animation tree player? I kind of did. Hey dude, give me one of the best zombie games you ever know. Wait, you keep typing that. We'll try. We might not be able to. It's kind of hard. Okay, so what do we think here? The audio stream player dot playback. What have we got? Playback position has stream playback. Mix target, pitch scale, plane, stop stream, stream paused, volume dB, audio translate, and then we've got a bunch of standard stuff. So duplicate flags. I actually don't know how to get to that. Internal mode is ancestor of. I didn't even know that was a function call you could make. And then we're into like standard stuff, so we're not really going to see it there. Multiplayer, no. Multiplayer, what does that even mean? Parameter? Reparent? I actually don't know how to get to this. Parameter, switch to clip. Have I played Project Zomboid? No, I haven't. I probably need to. Audio stream player. Dude, I'm totally lost right now. I guess that's the beauty of it. Get stream playback. I'm trying to think, like, if you have an animation mix player and you're trying to get to the stream. So if I go to the player, right? And if I look at the script that they have, parameters.playback, I've seen that pattern before. See here, parameters, left collision blend amount. You do like at square brackets and you pass in that string for the animation tree to get to the actual blend property that you're looking for. So maybe I have to do something like this in order to access it. I don't know. Also, you lied about being live the next day. Yeah, I did. I just didn't feel like it. It was not the day. It's not dot. It's just a slash. It happens. It happens. Property path. Switch to clip. I actually, and then what? So I pass in the, what do I do? Parameters, switch to clip. And then can I call that playback stream, switch to clip? Not existent in base string. Okay, so what does that return then? What? Do it again. Clip name, locals. Interesting. Playback stream, members, globals. Filter stack variables. I'm looking for audio stream player, audio controller. Okay, hang on a second. What is this? What am I getting back? Playback stream. Nothing. It's blank. Do I potentially have to pass in the clip? Switch to clip and then go like battle? Do you have any copyright issues like music and stuff when you were making games? I suppose you could, but I paid for the music that I'm using right now, so that's okay. If you have a license, then obviously it's fine. You just need to make sure that anything you do, you have a license for. So I can show you an example here, Industrial Music Pack. What does this say? Oh, I don't even have like anything to open that up with. It's just a picture. What have we got? Industrial Music, Ovani. Do they have like a license in here somewhere? I promise I have a license for it. Royalty free license and terms of service. Hang on a second. Where did I go? Royalty free. Okay. And so I've got this, I mean, I'm not going to read it, but you know, like, trust me, bro. We've got a license here, and so that's fine. I won't have any issues. It's also royalty free, so I can use it on stream without any issues in terms of it getting claimed, theoretically, which is good. So stuff like that is really important. If you pay attention to like Humble Bundle or like sometimes even in the Unreal Asset Store, you will find music available for download for either free or incredibly cheap. And it's good to just build that stuff up. I am capable of making my own music. I know how to play guitar. I've made music a lot in my past, but in terms of like when I'm making a game, I want to focus on making a game. I don't want to make the music because I would be here forever, right? So, especially the Horde background music. Why don't you use LFD music? I actually don't know what you mean by that. What is LFD music? Looking for dungeon? Okay, so clip battle. So what if I do that? And I set the default clip Left 4 Dead. Why don't you use Left 4 Dead music? Because then I would have copyright issues. So, you know, you got to take some. The default will go non-combat, and then it switches to battle. And then, I don't know, let's see what happens. So we should expect to hear some mad drum and bass. Okay, no. What's the error I'm getting? Invalid access to property or key parameters. Switch to clip battle on base object audio stream player. Clip name battle. See, I can get, there's clip name local. Clip name. Audio stream. I am like, it's out there somewhere. Can you give some of your games for me to try? Yeah, dude. I don't have that many. I have a tendency to make them unavailable after a time. So if I go to dashboard, no, not dashboard, view profile, switch to clip name, maybe. That's probably how it's going to go. So if you want to, if you want to check out some of the games that I've made in the past, I don't really make that many games. So the Zombie Survivor, I can show you guys this. Zombie Survivor was the most recent game I made. Before that, this is a game. The next one available on my profile is literally the digital camera demo for Godot 3. In parallel as well, I actually made that last year. So that's the next recent game. Inky's connection is probably broken. I broke it on an update. I don't know if it'll work. I actually really like this game. Yeah, there was a problem loading the project. It needs an update. That, I think, probably has some merit, like could actually be made into a game. And then The Fox in the Shadow, which is probably the most successful one. And then Deadly Lens, which is pretty much exactly the same as digital camera. It's just like PS1 graphics and there's no album. So I basically came back and finished the entire camera template and then made that. So it's not really a game. You can just wander around and take photos. But yeah, so those are sort of the main ones on my page. Obviously, I'm mostly doing game assets these days. It's on special for $2.50. Australian. It isn't free. Well, no, all my games are free. My assets cost money. That's what I charge for. Okay, so now I got a suggestion from Javier about setStream.set parameter playback stream. Playback stream? Yeah, that's probably. Have I heard about Godot 3.6? You know, I spied that on the on the Godot website. I clicked blog because I wanted to get to this, and I did see release candidate Godot 3.6 RC1. And what are they backporting? Because that's normally the things: scene shader regression, pausing behavior with physics interpolation. Great. I don't know if that affects that viewport behavior. Physics, interesting. Text to speech loaded too early. Fixed physics tick counter, faster editor grid. I want to play your latest games. My games are free. Don't worry about it. Any game on my page is free. The only things that I've ever charged for are game assets, which are for making games. So you don't need to pay me any money to play my games. At the moment, if I finish this zombie one, I will charge for it. But that's if I decide to turn it on to something. What is TTS in Godot? Yeah, I don't know. I did see that as well. Faster text to speech loaded too early. Is it like, I guess maybe there's a node for that? I don't know. We can look at that later. Okay, so we're gonna get this. I liked what Javier said. Playback stream dot set. So playback type, get playback position, get stream playback, and then audio stream dot get stream playback returns the audio stream playback of this node. Oh, maybe. Usually the most are recently created by play. If no sounds are playing, this method fails and returns an empty playback. But that's very interesting because maybe I can get the audio stream interactive playback object, and then I will actually be able to call switch to clip, which is a function of that object, switch to clip, and it just takes a string, which is great. So I can pass in clip name. Okay, let's try that. No, you definitely can download it. You don't need a credit card to download my game. I guess as to prove how to play it free, I can show you. Let's just go to shafmir.itch.io. And if I go, I'm not even logged in here. I'm just, this is like a browser I use to show on stream. So I'm not like gonna dox myself. So if I go to download, you just click this button here. No thanks, just take me to the download. This is like a standard, and then you can download. So this is just a standard itch.io thing that that they do. I think I can turn it off. I'm kind of lazy. It's like it just suggests a donation. You don't have to do it. So yeah, you can just click no thanks, just take me to the download. 10 out of 10 game. Nah, it's pretty basic. It can be made better, but we'll see. Okay, let's see. No, invalid. In audio stream cannot convert argument 1 from string to yes, but we are there, right? Switch to clip is the function, and it got called. Switch to clip by name is the function I want to use. Okay, that's great. I'm glad you had fun. I should probably, yeah, once I get back into it, so like after this week, and I'll know, because basically what I'm trying to find out is just to see how it performs in the jam, because if I win the jam, I don't think I will, but if I do, then I can keep using the assets. But if I don't, I need to overhaul the visual appearance of it, and so that's basically what I'm waiting to see what happens there. And then I'll take out all the pixel art assets and replace it with something else. I'd be interested to know, should I leave it as pixel art or should I swap it for, like, I would go for low poly aesthetic. So maybe picture like early Xbox level graphics, maybe PS2. I wouldn't push for like PSX style. I'm not going to try to follow that trend, but it's not going to be high fidelity because I'm not capable of that. It's either going to be that or I stay with pixels. I can do pixel art. So we'll see. Okay, so the function we want is switch to clip by name. I just noticed your subscribers. I got subscribers. Congrats. Oh, thanks. It's been a long time. I need to work harder. I do not have that many. I need to make more content. It's actually kind of crazy, like with YouTube and how quickly you'll fall off the cart, I guess to say. So like I was doing daily shorts from the stream, and obviously I was streaming 3 days a week, and I was and the channel like shot up massive, and so I was getting like 500 subscribers a month, which is like up from my, like it's normally like between 300 and 400 depending on the month. And so like a huge jump in subscribers. Maybe if I had time I could do React. Do you think React is like, because it would have to be like still within the niche of like Godot or game making. So I don't know. It's an interesting idea. I'm open to it, but we'll see. This is essentially what I'm doing now. It's a form of it. If you think about it, I'm going to create an audio stream playback controller. It's basic, and then I'll cut this up and turn it into like a 10-minute video. And it's not exactly a tutorial, but it is, you know, something that people can use if they want to learn more about what a stream player is or what a audio stream interactive is. So get stream playback. So Javier, you did it for me. I didn't know about that function. We did it. So that's awesome. So we've got get stream playback dot switch to clip by name. If I play this now, I think it will work. And it does. Okay, so that's the function. It's really basic. And so I guess just to prove, if I don't call that and I just play, it's the low intensity one. Okay, so we did it. What we can do here is, it's supposed to start with non-combat, which sounds like this though. So there is something here that's not quite right. And I think maybe if I come down here, it's got switch to clip, so I'll go non-combat. I don't know how to clear that. It's just there now. So I guess I just have to choose that. And if I play now, it still just plays the first one in the queue. So that's interesting. So I guess if I do like a play, so audio stream player.play, and then I can switch to clip. It needs to be playing in order for that to work. So I can switch to clip, and I'll just call non-combat as the first one. And it just needs to be passed as a string. All right. And we play. Right, it has like automatic fade out? Dude, what the heck? I meant something else. So, oh yeah, you did say something else, but it was enough for me to know like this gives me the thing that I was looking at before. So I was looking at audio stream playback interactive, and I had no idea how to get to that object. And then obviously when you suggested that function, I sort of picked up on this fact that it said playback. So I was like, it's gonna be in there, and it was. It's awesome. Teamwork. All right. So where do we go from here? Okay, so now that we've got the basics, we need to probably look at when we call that and how it gets called. So I'm so glad I found the channel. Oh, I'm great. I'm glad you are happy here. So what we can do is the player, the enemy, right? The enemy detects the player. It doesn't do anything at the moment. It's not finished. I'm probably going to need to copy the code from the zombie project because it's more complete. So what we can do, probably bring in the enemies from that. I think that's probably the call to make. Rather than copy the script, take the entire object and just try to fix it up as best we can once it's in there. So I'll get that enemy AI time. I can't speak. Okay, so we'll grab that. We'll let me just go here. Go development projects. Godot. No, I'm in the wrong spot. Documents. Do you guys have that? Like when you're trying to find something in your file browser, it's just not. It's not where you expect it to be. Zombies. And then we want enemy. So I'll take this folder and I'll bring it into enemy AI template. And oh, got to rename this. Enemy 2. Weird. Project reload. It's getting kind of crazy. I told it not to paste in, but it did anyway. Did I fuck up? That's annoying. Enemy template. Oh well, it's here now. Byte zone. Missing dependencies. It's not even there. Like, oh, I guess it is. Super annoying. Discard local changes and reload. Oh man, it is not happy with that. I thought that would go better because I essentially like that entire project was inherited from this to begin with. So I'm surprised that went as badly as it did. All right. Do the enemies load at least? Not that enemy. So it's not happy. It wants the sounds and the sprite sheet. Open anyway. We don't need to worry about that. Cool. Okay, so we can delete that. Oh, this is actually a new feature in Godot 4.3 where basically if there's missing dependencies, you can sort of just ignore that shit and keep going, which is so much better because in Godot 4.2, if you had missing dependencies, you were basically screwed. So this is actually a really good change. And I thought I had like doomed the entire project and we were going to have to start from scratch, but it looks like we're going to be able to carry forward. So I'll replace this guy with a pill, just so we've got something to look at. Make him pink to scare that guy that's afraid of girls, or no, we'll make him red so that we know he's a bad guy. We got a bunch of sounds. We can delete all of that. The streams are empty. No, it should be fine. No script. File not found. Zombie rule 1. Zombie movement. It should have this script. And okay, that's fine. Health and ammo needs to go. It's going to error out. So this entire function, upgrade resources, can go. The experience manager can go. And this can go. And those two will error out. We can delete. Game state manager not declared. That's fine. Delete that and we should be good to go. It has a bunch of base stats. The only difference with this one versus the old one was that it did not use the Area 3D to detect the player. So we just need to restore that functionality because here is what we're going to do. Collision shape. And I'll make it a cylinder. And we'll just grab that. Make it wide. Bring it up. So we'll give it some space there. Awesome. There's a bullet point, which I'm assuming is still, I can just put it at the center. So the bullet will just come from there. And it should be exactly the same. I'm not expecting any not too many issues here. Set debuff. I've got like a bunch of warnings. Because they're not static typed. That's okay. What other assumptions am I making here? The player, that's what I was saying. Okay, so this needs to detect. So there should be like a function in here on trigger body, this here, trigger area body. Is that what I called it? Trigger area body. And if I connect the, well, it's body entered, so it's actually just called trigger area, and it's body entered, and so it's the exact same function now. So that's connected up, so we can set the player to the body. What we need to do is change the collision layer to layer 2, and it would detect that. And now we can say if player, and we can just pop all of this inside that like it used to be. And theoretically now, everything should work. Theoretically. It's still getting real cranky at me, so let's see. Okay, we have no errors. If we walk towards this guy, it's hard to say if he's even looking at us or doing anything because he doesn't have a face. So let's just give him another mesh. It can just be a cylinder. Where is the cylinder? There we go. So now we can tell if he's actually looking at us. Yeah, I don't know if it's me or if it's the new Godot build, but it's got issues. The height is way too much. I can't click and drag this stuff. 0.3? Yeah, great. So that'll just tell us which way this dude's facing, and I've got it wrong, so that's negative Z. So there's something that you guys need to remember when you're making an enemy and you want to know which way is the forward facing. It's always this Z here. So this will be where the character faces if you're using any kind of like rotational. So we just need to move that. Let's just rotate it by 90, chuck it in here, chuck it up. Okay, and so that should be there. Awesome. Okay, so let's run this again and just see how things are working. Okay, it doesn't look like old mate's detecting us. Or I'm not killing him either, which is interesting because it should just work based on that. So we've got a lot of errors. Has no static return type. Okay. Interesting. I'm going to turn off the warnings because they're kind of annoying. Okay, so why not? Let me just pop this out and let's have a think for a second. So what we're doing in the update function, so this is getting called all the time. So we have the player, we go if player, we've got looking at player, we've got navigation is finished, then return, then global position, we get the distance to the player, and then we start the shoot bullet function, right? Otherwise, we are going to get the direction to the next path position, and then we will be setting the velocity, right? So this is the function here on navigation agent 3D velocity computed, safe velocity, play walk. Just comment that out just in case that's causing issues, although I didn't see any errors being called, so it's unlikely that we're even making it this far down the code. Start shoot. So on trigger area body entered, player equals body. Is that being triggered? Is the question. So let's have a look. On body entered, right? And the player is on layer 2. So it should detect it. It's masking layer 2. It's monitorable. So in theory, it shouldn't have any issues. What is the player here? Player equals null. That's fine. Player equals body. And then what? So when we created in the other project, no, it should work. All right, let's see if we can get this going. What I will do is just so we can check to see if there is a player, because where's my cursor? I'm going to keep playing. Yeah, go ahead, man. Have fun. I'd be interested to know how far you get, because the game lags out after a certain number of zombies. Print player. All right, so we're going to be printing player all the time. It should just be null. It's not even getting called. Physics process. Is the correct enemy in the scene? Lean collision, player character, enemies. And not those enemies. Navigation agent. See you later, buddy. Enemy number 2, not enemy. Let's delete. And bring in enemy. Excuse me. Okay. Okay, now we're talking. Okay, extends character body 3D. Cannot be assigned to an object of type navigation region 3D. That shouldn't be on there. Okay. Null, null, null. And it gets next player position. So I need to put a little bit of safety in here because I'm just assuming the player exists. So we can just go if player on this timer and go and just tab that in. There's no problems. So we can do that. Let's give it another run. Okay, great. And it's firing, but it's not got anything to fire, so it's not going to have anything to do. So that's good though. We are making progress. Should run perfectly fine. Excuse me, I got my jumper still on my chair. Oh, super annoying. Alrighty. Okay, so it is enemy knife requires an attack. The attack can be the enemy attack. Attack knife, enemy attack. Open anyway. It needs the script, but for some reason the script was not attached. Damage object. It still needs a damage object. Enemy bullet. Open this up. It's probably broken. Okay, great. Right. Okay, so things should work. Still no. Okay, cannot instantiate an null value. Okay, hang on, stop. Excuse me? I forgot to set it, didn't I? I fixed it all up and then I forgot to set it. Drop that in there. Okay. I think this also assumes that there's a function on the body to be called, but we'll see. So I might run into problems there. I don't really intend to kill the player, so... Alphin, welcome to the stream. What am I using? I'm just using an area 3D to detect the player. So once the player walks into that area, the enemy is aware of it. And until then it isn't. And basically it's just doing it's really a basic enemy controller. So basically it just has a variable called player, which is set to null. And in the physics process, I'm just checking to see if that exists. And then if it does, everything happens. And so when you walk into that area, the player is set to the body, which is the player, because it's the only thing that exists in that layer. So it's not like the cleanest code, but we're just trying to get something up and running for this. It's not shooting, but I'm not sure I care, because that's what I want to be able to do is to kill it. So groups, pass through and target. So theoretically I should be able to shoot it, but I didn't see it doing damage last time. Oh no. Hey, it worked. Okay. If health 0, zombie death, emit self, player stop. Okay, so this just plays an animation and some sound. I'm just going to override that and queue it free. Or maybe not. What I'm going to do is change it to call death, and rather than have all this kind of stuff, we've got on death emit self, and then we can just queue free. We're not going to do anything fancy. We're not even really going to use the weapon. I will replace that. I wonder, how is this still working? Oh, it probably isn't, because yeah, hang on a second. I did make changes that wouldn't include that. So, hey, someone followed. Who's that? Flinty007. James Bond, eh? Welcome to the stream. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it, man. Okay, so I don't think I need that, and I don't want that. And the question is, how did this work when I'm pretty sure I changed the code for that project? And hit successful doesn't actually pass in the weapon. So let's just delete and play. Okay, well it works now, so that's fine. Great. Cool. So we can kill the enemy, and the enemy can see us. It doesn't really attack, but that's okay, because it's not really important to this project where we're trying to test the stream player. So let's check it out. Now that the player can be detected, what we wanted to do is essentially tell... Oh, it crashed. Hey, you know what? Yeah, that's really funny, because like I was using Linux, right? And the last time I used Linux was the first time I did a Godot 4.3 stream, and it crashed a lot. And I blamed Linux, but maybe it was just Godot 4.3's fault. To be fair, it was crashing way more. And regular Godot was crashing a lot too. Okay, so let's focus back in. So the audio controller. So that's what the point of this entire stream is. We've got the switch to clip, and we've got the play. And so now, I guess, like, there's going to be ways to do this that are more in depth, so you can focus on like how you want to control that data, right? So you can, we're going to keep it simple. So we'll just say, okay, so what we'll do is we'll try to do something semi-realistic, right? So we'll create like a state of intensity, right? And I guess we can call this like intensity state. right? And I just need to declare that properly. So I'm thinking too hard. I'm like trying to work out this, and we'll have an enum, and it will be Boo Goosefat27. How are you today? How did I do enums? I've forgotten. Unexpected identifier. What the heck? Really looking forward to Godot 4.3, mainly because of the passive stars theme. Lentis, welcome to the stream. Thank you for the follow. I don't know what you mean. What is this? Is this a theme? I know there's something to do with themes, right? Like if you quit to the project list, because I know the project list got changed, right? So let me just bring this over. You can go to settings and you can just like go to the theme. Cheers on the theme. Cheers on the theme. Which one do you like? I'm just a fan of the default. Breeze Dark, maybe. And then there's black. I don't like this at all. It's just too much. It's too much. It's too dark. But there's a couple that are all right. But I'm a big fan of the default or potentially dark. I'm so used to seeing it this way. I guess that's like the whole point of themes, right? Like you just get used to seeing it a certain kind of way. Display scaling, man, it's just so good. Like it feels like Godot 4.3 really feels like Godot is like a serious contender. Like it's gotten to that point now where it's just the polish is really good. It's a custom theme made by Passive Star. It does a lot. Removing needless gaps, which I'm a fan of. I need to check this out. Let's have a look. Thank you for putting me onto it. Passive Star Godot theme. Okay. Minimal editor Godot theme. That's cool. You can watch it on YouTube. Is this a Games from Scratch?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's Wayne here at Game from Scratch, and there's that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. That's meaning that some people find something aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I need to eat people. Goosefat, you don't need to do that. That's a crime. You shouldn't do it. So, like, the whole thing with, like, theming, I think it makes sense that Godot is like this because, you know, it is like a Linux first kind of thing. Goosefat, do I need to put you in a timeout again? Is that like NA Games? Hey, welcome to the stream. Anyway, let's watch this.
Other people find it ugly as sin, and that applies to game engines as well.
Is this it? It looks a lot like Unity.
Thing is, when you go back in time with the Godot game engine.
Oh no, this is the OG. Yeah, I don't know if I could handle that. It's so bad. This looks like something I would make.
In front of you right now. This is Godot 1.1, and even
it
at
ain't
the time,
great,
I gotta
mate.
be honest. No.
It was. It was a long time ago. Like for what it was, it probably was. Like when was this? 2014. Like I think it's okay for an open source project if it was 2014 and it looked like this. I mean, I'm not a developer, so I don't know. It would have turned me off, that's for sure. You know, I'll be honest with you. Like when I first tried Godot, I remember I had just gotten back into Linux. So it was 2018, maybe 2019. And I had just sort of started being like, I don't want to use Windows anymore. I'd been using Windows for probably like maybe, I want to say 5 years. And I was sort of getting out of that, and I was like, I want to go back. I want to try something. And I remember I think I installed Fedora, maybe. And then I was checking out the Flatpak, and I was looking for game engines because it was when I was starting to learn how to code and make games. And I saw Godot in the Flatpak store, and I downloaded it, and I looked at it, and I was like, mate, I don't know what I'm looking at. It doesn't make any sense to me. And I think, especially if you're coming from Unity or Unreal, it's very hard to understand what you're looking at when you're trying to use Godot for the first time. I don't know. Like, that's just me. I don't know if other people agree. I'd be interested to know your thoughts.
No offense to Godot team, but it was ugly as sin. This was basically an interface that only a mother could love, and even she would secretly admit that her child was kind of ugly. So this is where Godot started from, and to be honest, I've been a big fan of Godot for a very, very long time, but the aesthetics of the engine itself have never been really high up on my list. We moved up a little bit better. This is Godot 2. You're seeing it on a high DPI display. It did not have high DPI scaling, so why things are looking really kind of tiny. But I'll zoom in over a couple of things. Our menu system, they were like these weird chunky buttons over here. Some of it actually is pretty consistent to this day, and some of it is.
It's kind of like the same but worse.
2D and 3D view toggles that you'll see.
Like realistically, it's not that different. Like in terms of functionality, the core principle is still there.
Now. They're just not aligned, not tabs, nothing like that. So let's just
TikTok
say,
brain,
even at this stage
no, for real. Like I'm like I have to watch it on 2x. I can't. It's too slow.
Of Godot 2.x, it was still pretty ugly, to be honest. Then we moved on to the world of Godot 3.
This is where I started using it. And to be fair, like it's pretty much the same as it is now, but I still think it's like hard. It's like hard to use.
Now you're gonna see with
like
Godot
coming from Unity and Unreal
3, we're starting to look a whole lot more like modern Godot.
I think it looks identical. Like, is it really that different? We've got Godot 3. This is Godot 4.3. Like, it looks the same, aside from the theming. Like, it's a little bit different color. It's the same thing. And we got like the forward plus. Yeah, I don't think it's any different.
Definitely got prettier. You can see we've at least aligned our controls centrally like here. I gotta admit, still not the most
follows the same direction and philosophy.
Aesthetically pleasing thing you've ever seen. It's not bad. It's definitely
it's very like open source GNU kind of look. Like you don't find this in the commercial world. Like this kind of look you won't find in any commercial software. But like in the open source world, you can find stuff that looks like this. I wonder if they use Godot, like the guys, because I know it's like a Linux first engine. So I'm kind of interested.
I've also never been a huge fan of the blue.
What do they use for their windowing?
To go with, but
probably their own.
This is Godot 3. Now at this point in time, Godot is definitely getting better looking. So this is more on par with its peers. Speaking of its peers, and again, it's all in the eye of the beholder. We move on now to Unity. This is Unity.
Yeah, it looks professional. In that translation, it means ugly. Should have a screenshot of theme. Oh yeah, okay, cool. I just didn't load the first time. I mean, it's good, I guess. It looks kind of like... See, I don't like it. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. It's more compact. The game is good. Okay, that's great. I'm glad you guys like it. Yeah. Yeah, I'd say I agree. I can see why people would like this. It's more compact. Like, there's no need for it to be so, like, spread out and big. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so let's focus back in here. So, we've got the enemy, and we've got the audio controller. So I was just trying to create an intensity state. I was trying to create an enum, but for some reason I couldn't. I believe it's like this, right? So then we've got like non-combat, combat, and what's the other one? %, coming in diehard fan. Well, you'd be the first, mate, so welcome. Welcome. Ambient non-combatant. Switched from Unity to Godot 1 year ago. I felt it was fairly easy to learn to begin with. Just had to adapt to the node environment. One script per node. Yeah, it's kind of weird like that, right? I also like it. I feel like the whole scene thing is a little bit difficult to understand at first. And then, yeah, I find the appearance, just because it is so vastly different between the other two engines, to like what we see in Godot. It's hard. Non-combat, combat, and then ambient, low risk. I need to create better words for these. So I'm just going to line these up as well. So they're the same, non-combat, combat, and low risk. Okay. So then we can go func set intensity state. And it will take a state. What are we going to do? How are we going to do this? Set intensity state. It's going to need to take something, right? Like, state. I suppose it's going to be an int because that's what they look like. And it's going to be a void. And then we'll go match state to non-combat. Just pass low risk. Pass. And then combat. Say, as an example of ways that we can do it. Like, I know it's not exactly named that great, but like, we'll just roll with that. So we've got a state where like combat is not possible in the slightest. Say like you're in a hub or something like that, or maybe in a house. I don't know, like whatever game you're making. You're not in a place where combat is possible. Low risk. You're in a place where you might find enemies, or maybe you're expecting the next encounter to come up soon. And then you've got combat, which is you are actively engaging in whatever activity it is in your game. In our case, killing red pills. Red pillars, maybe? We can kill red pillars. No, we don't want to do that. Actually, I take that back. Whoops. Okay, so then we can just call the switch to clip, and we can just pass in our clip name. So non-combat, non-combat. We won't do anything too complicated here. Low risk is this one here. Non-combat, combat. All right. Awesome. Okay, so here we can start to go to set intensity state. So now we just need to call that function. So we need a way for the enemy to notify that combat has started. So we can create a function like, maybe we don't want to create a function called like, we don't want to call set intensity state on the enemy. So we can just say like combat entered, entered, and it's just a function. It doesn't have to be anything. And essentially what we can do is then say set intensity state. You can give the enum a name and make the parameter that type. Is that something you can do? I've never even tried. So we can try. And then you can just go combat engine, combat. You can give the enum a name and then make the parameter that type. Huh? I don't know. I've never looked at enums before. Maybe I need to learn more about them. Global script, export enum. Has enum, is enum. I find it really hard sometimes to look up help for like global types. Property hint enum. Enumerated list. Maybe it's because it's Godot 4. I don't know their syntax, that's all. I understand what you're saying, but like how to type it is the question. Huh. Good for using it out of scope of the class also. Godot enum. Ooh, okay, so here we are learning enums named thing 1, thing 2, no, another thing. Okay, so you can give it a name. Okay. I've never done that before. So rather than going, creating a variable in front and saying intensity state, I can go enum intensity state. I never end up using that anyway. Like that. Not declared in the current scope. So then do I need to go like intensity dot? How do I get to it? Like this? Yeah. Nice. That is making it much clearer. And oh, then I could, yeah, I see what you're saying. Because then it would be a lot easier to access in terms of I could actually set intensity state in the enemy and pass in, you know, thing, audio controller, and then make the parameter that enum. Make the parameter that enumerator. I don't understand, man. I'm a dum-dum. I mean, I'm just not a coder. Well, I am, but like, not educated. Make the parameter that enum. So intensity state equals state. Like this. State, intensity state. Oh, I see. I did not know you could do that. And so now it has to take an intensity state. That's so cool. So it can, you essentially type it rather than having to just be like, instead of an int. Yeah, that's sick. That's so much better. Thank you for walking me through that. Sorry, I didn't understand straight away. That is really good. That's really powerful. Okay, so awesome. Combat entered. And there's basically, I mean, if you imagine, I'm not going to do it, but like if you imagine a bunch of different functions that you could create, combat entered, combat exited, I'm just going to make a couple of basic ones, essentially like low risk entered, because I don't have exited clip sounds. So low risk. Hey, we're all helping each other. That's the whole point. That's the whole reason I started making videos, because I felt like there wasn't enough people talking about like the mid-level. There's heaps of beginner and there's some advanced stuff, but there's no one like in the middle. Like we can just chat and talk about stuff. You know what I'm saying? Low risk entered. Fuck. And then intensity state, switch to clip. I want to write combat, non-combat. So I wanted to go non-combat entered. I'm still a bit confused about where I want to use that. Realistically, it's just the two. Non-combat, combat. I don't know. Anyway. Like, what does non-combat even mean? That's the point of doing this. One thing I learned about enums is if you make a blank script with a class name and define it a nameless enum, you can catch index the enum's properties by using the class name. Like you can go class name.enum property. Yeah, that is actually really cool. What is going on? Let's go with non-combat, as I said before. Alrighty, so now that we've got that, we can call these basically whenever we want. And so on the enemy, essentially the example that I'm going for is that the enemy is triggered by this trigger area. And then we can say audio controller dot combat entered. So we can just call that, right? And then once it dies, because we can actually kill it, we can call the function audio controller low risk, I guess. And then it starts off as non-combat, I believe. So let's see. It's really abrupt, but it does work. And that's pretty good. So it is quite a jarring transition, but that's kind of the point of what I'm trying to do. So let's just work on, so what I want to do now is like the final thing to sort of cap this off. If we enter into low risk, we want to put a timer in, and if no combat is entered, we'll go back to non-combat, if you know what I mean. Yeah, it's like really heavy. What's it called? Is the audio, is it too loud or something like that? I can turn it down a little bit. Or negative 10 dB. But that's, I really like that. So what I want to do then is, yeah, let's create like a little timer, and we can sort of set up a timeout for that activity. It was a little loud. Okay, awesome. We will just bring that down a smidge more. It's so hard to get the balances right on OBS. Like you set it to negative 16 dB, and it's like still so loud. Even with the microphone, I have a hard time balancing it out. I'm not -5, but I still see it hitting yellow. It's like, I don't know, bro. It's a lot. You're not supposed to hit yellow. I mean, you're kind of, I mean, actually, it's really interesting because it goes against like, it goes against everything I know about sound, and sort of like whenever I'm mixing, like YouTube videos, when you're mixing music, you sort of want to aim for like anywhere below like -6, -12. And for some reason, OBS is saying -20, but like, okay. Sound balance is always, I spent days on that in your game. Yeah, it's tough. Okay, so let's create a timer for the timeout. So if you enter low risk, let's go back into the script. We can create a timer and then connect it to a signal. So low risk. So then we can go get tree. We'll just do something basic. Get tree dot create timer, and we'll just make it, for the sake of our thing, 5 seconds, and then timeout dot connect, and then we'll just connect it to non-combat. RABA. How are you? RA and BA? We'll go with that. Non-combat entered, so we'll go for 5 second timeout for that, and then we're good, right? And then there's so many things that you could do. Like I always picture it like a meter, right? Like you basically picture like something like a number between 0 and 100. And so like as you are attacking more enemies and more enemies are attacking you, that meter goes up. And so the combat intensity increases. And so you can do things with the combat intensity rather than just like setting it as combat entered. It's very basic. You can, maybe that could be an audio stream synchronizer, and like multiple streams are set to like higher volumes as more enemies are firing on you. You have enemies, you're killing things. I don't know, like you're getting low on health. Something else starts playing, you know? There's so much that you can do. So we'll go with this for now. Let's have a look. And then it goes back down. That's pretty cool. it's a lot. Like that transition is like a lot. So if we put like 2 enemies in the scene, I think it would be like, as far as like game design, sound design is, I don't think it's like, obviously it's a very basic system. I'm just going to clear out the printout for these guys. We know the enemy sees the player now. And the other issue is, if I walk into this one, it'll go to non-combat. See there, it just went to non-combat because that timer doesn't time out. So there are issues there rather than just creating like an... So the problem with get tree timers are like timer nodes are just a little bit better when it comes to stopping time. So we can create an intensity timer. Intensity. That's not how you do it. Timer. Like this. And it's a one shot for sure. We connect the signal to timeout. Connect it. And then instead of doing that, we want to do intensity timer. We're going to need access to the thingo. And we can just say low risk entered, intensity timer. So if intensity timer dot is stopped, then intensity timer start, and we'll pass in 5 seconds. And then on timeout, I mean, we could probably set like a go-to, so like next state or whatever, but we won't do that. We're just going to do it the lazy way and just call non-combat entered. So call that, and then in the combat entered function, we can say, if we can do the exact same thing, if intensity timer dot is stopped, if not, I would say if not, we want to check that it's running, and there isn't a function for that. So is stopped, then we can say intensity timer stop, so that if we enter into combat before the timer actually times out, then it will just increase the intensity again. Like that. That's really good. I like it. It works exactly how you expect it to. It's simple, no frills, a great way to sort of get that going without like so little effort. Like if you look at the code that I've just written for the audio controller, like it's a jump scare now. Yeah. Listen, I'm not the best when it comes to audio design here. I also should have planned it a bit better in terms of the music that I chose. But you know what I'm saying? Like you can do a lot with this in terms of like, there's a couple of functions and that's it. You've got a working like audio system. So easy. That is awesome. Oh, how are we all doing? That was literally all I had planned for the stream. You guys want to talk about anything? Try to randomize the delay. Yeah, for sure. You would do something like that. Like you can just go like rand range. Rand F range. If you were like actually putting this into your game, you would probably have more clearly defined parameters, right? Like, maybe it would just, what I think like I was trying to explain before, is like you have like a number between 1 and 100, and as you engage enemies, that number goes up and the intensity builds, and we sort of like, and then once you're out of combat, that it starts ticking down, and as it ticks down, the transitions back through the different states, if you know what I'm saying. That's what I would do. That's what I want to try to do when I start this next project. Hey, Ricky, what am I doing next? In terms of now that I've finished this little test versus, or what am I doing next in terms of like my next project? Next project, I think I'm going to keep working on the zombie project. We'll see what happens with the jam. I'm going to have to replace all the assets. But I think it could be a fun little project to make, like, I wouldn't call it serious, but it's like a semi-serious game, and actually like spend maybe 6 months on it, see what I can come up with. See if we can get something going with that. You never know. And just roll with that. Maybe I can learn about peer-to-peer and make it like multiplayer as well. I don't know. It's something that I'm interested in learning about. Yeah, we'll probably go with that. I think that's probably what I'm going to work on next, because it's kind of hard. I like 6 months. Yeah, it's a long time. It is for me, at least. I'm not saying I will work on it for 6 months, but I'm thinking I'll give it a go. But we'll see. We have to wait until the end of the jam before I start working. I don't know when that ends. No. Community overview. So we've got 2.5 days. So what, like Thursday midday, roughly? Something like that. We can find out if I need to replace the assets. I suspect I will, because there's a lot of really good projects in this. Tomorrow, by the way, we're going to be on stream playing more of these games. So I don't know how many I got through. I think someone in the chat last time said that there was I had rated like 10 of them. So I still got a lot more to go. Yeah, I have a lot. And I need to use the queue. I really like this queue thing. So I've got zombies game, shuffle queue. You can shuffle your queue if you're having a project. You can only shuffle your queue once. I'm going to shuffle my queue. Oh wait, I'm not even on my account. Oh wait, no, I am. Okay. All right, fine. Never mind. Yeah, no, I think it's going to be good, I would say. What I want to do is probably make it a more level-based thing and try to come up with more of a more interesting enemy subset. So, like, obviously, I was, before I started that game jam, I was sort of working on an enemy template. And I guess as a part of what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try to work on something that I can use to create enemies easily, since the focus of that is going to be so much on how the enemies behave, because essentially, like, the shooting and the combat is already worked out. Like, I've made that already. And so now it's just a matter of making the enemies interesting in a way that is like, challenging to play against, satisfying to beat, all that kind of stuff. So we'll see what we can come up with if we work on that for a while. And then we'll be able to put it all together. So that's the plan. Maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't. It's okay if it doesn't. I'm chill. I'm chill like that. So we can quit to project list. So that's Godot 4.3. I'm really excited about it. The one thing I was wondering, right? So I had a question with the zombie survivor. So obviously I had performance issues with the navigation, and part of what alleviated that was moving away from a grid map. But something occurred to me the other day was that it's a little buggy, but it's getting there. Yeah. Something that occurred to me the other day with this is that make it better with some polish and progression. Yeah. What about, like, maybe the problem isn't the grid map. Maybe the problem is the amount of objects that it needs to test for collisions. So what I wanted to do was basically make more of an obstacle course for this and see if that affects how the zombies behave, whether or not we hit lag, because obviously a big part of this is the performance. So if I move this back, this is where the zombies will spawn from. And if I just create like a couple more boxes, so I've got a couple of boxes here, I'll duplicate this one. And I essentially want to funnel them through a bunch of obstacles to see how that affects performance. And if it reduces the amount of zombies that I can spawn in. Because if it does, we've got an issue. But if it doesn't, then I guess I'm pretty happy with the number we got to. Obviously, it can probably get better. It can always get better. But I want to know what is actually influencing the performance. And whether or not it is something like the collisions, or if it was just the grid map being a grid map, you know. So let's create like a little obstacle course for these guys to come through. They'll get funneled essentially from here. I would expect them to take this route rather than go around here. I really don't want them to do that, so I might just extend that out so they can't. Duplicate this again. How the profiler works. Yeah, I do need to learn more about that because I was struggling to figure it out, right? I mean, I was able to tell that it was the navigation, and then we were able to tell that it was the look at this. This is so dodgy. I was able to figure out that it was the collisions, but I mean, you guys helped me a lot, so you know, would I have been able to figure it out on my own? I don't know. So we'll send them through a little gap like that. What are we building here? Like the worst maze imaginable? Probably. Let's duplicate this one and then bring this up. It's pretty long. Duplicate. Bring that here. Rotate. 90. Grab this one here, extend it. The end one, duplicate, bring across. Whoa, rotate, not that way. You can tell I'm just like the greatest level designer in the world, can't you? Okay, so now we've got a way more complicated collision system, you know, so I'm starting to lag up when I'm moving these around. So now we will get to find out how they behave when I do this. Take a look at the Godot docs for the profiler. Let me just close some stuff. Player. Close, main menu, that's fine. World test. BG music, I'm just going to turn this off because I don't like it that much. Creepy music, we'll turn this off. Profiler. I should open that up on my other screen. Profiler. Let's have a look. The profiler. Okay, you can run the game for your Godot. You can run your game. Do you know how to prevent nav mesh from generating in certain areas? Not really, no. I'm still in the process of learning about the nav mesh. I need to bake it. Now that I think about it. Okay, so you can run your game from Godot and play around. It's fun. It's becoming feature complete and you feel it's getting close to release, but then you open the skill tree and it grinds to a halt as something snags with your code. Watching this skill tree scroll by like it's a slideshow, we've been there, haven't we, guys? Is unacceptable. What went wrong? It's okay. I find the profiler's feature of asking for skin color a bit strange. Sorry, what? It does that? I wouldn't know. I've got that privilege, you know? Okay, so watching the skill tree scroll by like a slideshow is unacceptable. What went wrong? Is it positioning the skill tree elements, the UI, or the rendering? Or you could try to optimize everything and run the game repeatedly. But you can be smarter about this and narrow it down the possibilities. Enter Godot's profiler. You'd be surprised. You laugh, Ricky, but like it's kind of insane. And obviously, being from Australia, most people are white, but I've seen it even with people that just have like an accent. Like Australia's kind of crazy like that, and so I've had my wife. She doesn't speak English as a first language, and then like someone will be talking to her, like just switch, like just be horrible, and then like then I'll just take over because I see the direction it's going, and then everything gets fine again because it's like, oh, it's someone who speaks English and is white probably. Just absolutely horrible to see that happening all the time. Anyway, you can open the profiler by opening the debugger panel and clicking on the profiler tab, and then you get to see all this stuff. Script functions. Why couldn't I see this before? Godot profiler does not automatically run because profiling is performance intensive. It has to continually measure everything happening in the same game and report back to the debugger, so it's off by default. Okay, the measured data. The profiler's interface is split in two, yada yada yada, scope measurement, slow code with the profiler measuring manually in milliseconds. As a brown man in a white retirement city, I find the people more intrigued than offensive. I guess you could say, yeah. It's hard for me to gauge because I don't directly experience it. But yeah, it's Australia is kind of like, especially where I live on the Gold Coast, it's like it is the same kind of thing, a retirement city. So there's a lot of old people, but also like where I am in Queensland is sort of like a little bit more rural. So it's kind of, I guess people consider it's more like being in the South in America. I don't know if it's a direct comparison. I wouldn't go so far, but like Melbourne and Sydney are like considered the more like woke places, I guess you would say. I don't like using that word, but like, you know, that's how people might describe it. But yeah, it's an interesting place. What is that noise? That sound. You hear all sorts of people say like Australia is racist versus it's not. I don't know because I don't experience it. But from what I've observed, what my wife has gone through, I would say that it probably is. I mean, maybe I'd use the word xenophobic. Anyway, that's a bit of an off tangent. Let's run this game and see what happens. I pressed the wrong button. Okay. They are still spawning in the wrong spot. That's hilarious. They should go here. Hello. I never moved the spawner. I just moved the mesh. Lovely. You love it. Reset that. Grab the right thing. Move it back. Yep. Good to go. Let's see what happens here. I think it's set to 150 by default. Looks like they're going to go around the outside. That's not where I wanted them to go. I'm only here for distracting. All right, racism done. What's your thought on Korean Jesus? Is there Korean Jesus? I know Koreans are like really Christian, or not really, not all of them, but like I know Christianity is like pretty popular over there. You could get me started on that because I was raised in a Pentecostal Christian household and then decided to leave it. So I've got a lot of opinions on that. Let's widen that up. All right, guys, let's see what we can do. I want to make the platform higher because it's hard for me to tell what's going on. Wrong button. That platform's too high for me to jump up. I know I'm on. Okay, let's turn the pixel effect off. All right, boys, let's see where you go. It's a 21 Jump Street reference. He's back. I don't know what these zombies are doing. I don't think they're taking the bait. What did you miss? We're looking at the zombie game and the navigation issues. They're not going to come down here. Hey boys, I'm over here. Here we go. Lead them through the... It's a bit much for them. They can't figure it out. Let's make it a little bit more wider. Yeah, look, there's not even a path here. Okay. Undeadgen? What is that? Is it a game or is it in the jam? Could you just reduce the radius instead? I probably could have. That's a good point. I'll turn this pixel effect off. Okay, here they come. I think it seems to be fine. There are 36 zombies. There's no lag. So, hang on a second. I think I did start to see some. Let's start the profiler. Yeah, we're starting to lag. 52 zombies. So it definitely relates to collisions. And in terms of like the map, there are only 3 types of zombies, 4, I believe. We're going to expand on that. So yeah, so I guess my hunch is correct. I originally thought that the problem was the, what's the word for it? The problem was the grid map. The problem is not the grid map. The problem is the number of elements on the map that it needs to consider. Look at them. They're like in a little queue. So I'm kind of curious to see like, if we make it through, because it's, hang on a second. Let's just change the cap to 85. It should stop spawning. If we make it through and they all get to the end, will the performance pick back up? Does it cause an issue? Maybe. It really shouldn't affect the performance though. But the problem is the collisions. Too many. Because they have to continually try to navigate through that, which is pretty interesting. So I'm going to have to figure out, so the physics frame time. So in terms of script functions, the physics process is by far the worst. And the navigation agent is also really bad too. So it's kind of a question of, what we can do to try and alleviate that. So the easiest way to alleviate the enemy navigation is by turning down the amount of time it queries the, where is it? The amount of time that it queries the navigation agent is the word I'm looking for. Am I using move and slide to move them? Yes, I am. So you didn't finish typing. That's okay. So I'm doing basically set velocity on the navigation agent and then calling the move and slide function. Make every spawn zombie have a randomly generated brain clothes. Okay, yeah, try something like move and slide, velocity, delta false, 0.055, true. Interesting. What am I doing though? Move and slide. If the character collides with another body, it will slide along. Modifies velocity. Returns true if the body collided and otherwise false. Modifies the velocity. Isn't that like kind of an old way of doing it? Is that like Godot 3.5? Can you still do that? Like, can you pass in velocity here? Multiplied by delta? Would be really slow. It's not even going to have delta. See, what happens if you just try to pass that? Too many arguments for move and slide. It expects 0. It doesn't take any arguments. Move and collide. Oh, you're calling move and collide. Sorry about that. I didn't read properly. Move and collide. Test. So you're saying false. Safe margin, 0.05. And then recovery as collision true. And then max collisions, we're just leaving as the default. And will that actually improve performance? I guess we're about to find out, aren't we? Wrong button. And then we go here, turn this down, and we can start the debugger profiler start. The safe margin is what might help. Interesting. Java, are those available for move and slide? All those parameters. Yeah, it turns out it's collide. Look at him go! Okay, so this is why you wanted delta. It is seemingly performing better though. Let's see how we go. So we can work with the movement. Okay, we're hitting 50. We're starting to see the performance hit now. I would say it's probably a better performance than the other time. But it's still quite bad. And we're looking at the physics frame time. Navigation doesn't seem to be an issue here. It's just the physics. Which is quite fascinating, really. Frame time, 235 milliseconds. Damn. So physics 3D, physics 2D, script functions on navigation. That is like causing so much. So it's definitely there, right? That is the function. So we know for sure that whatever we're doing here is causing a lot of drama. Undegent? No, I didn't. I didn't make that. Okay, so that's, I guess, good. We know for sure. We kind of already knew, but now we have definite confirmation that it's related to this. I don't know if that helped. Keep that there. I want to just go. A performance difference between move and collide and move that I've found in my experience, at least for large numbers of colliding things. But move and slide. So let's see it again, but with this one, and measure the difference from the start. Here they come. This still technically performs better than the than the grid map. But yeah, once we get to 50 zombies, we're hitting struggle street pretty much immediately. It's just like straight up. Right down here at the bottom, we'll see our function again for 502, and we're just calling that function way too many times. So, I guess the performance is pretty similar. What can we do to improve this? Where am I calling the function? It's getting called in the process function because it's basically how we get the movement. So what we're doing here, we can make this bigger. Could you try to add a timer limit? Yeah, but they wouldn't move. They would just stand still. So, interesting, isn't it? What I also wanted to try is like, if this wasn't using navigation, two devs helping a dev memento. I don't know what's going on there. So what if I just say, like, I got rid of the navigation and I just used like raycast, for example, and said like, if there's something on the wall here, go the opposite direction until you get to where you're trying to go. Obviously a very rudimentary system. But basically just by trying to get the direction out of the animation player just to see, okay, if it's spamming that play isn't the issue. That's a very good point. Let's have a look. You reckon it's being called from somewhere else? That's good. We can find out. I need to disable this because I always want to turn it off. Start the profiler. It really can only be called from the enemy script. But yeah. Alright, mate. And then yeah, we start to hit that lag spike around 50. Very fascinating. The name of the function looks like a built-in name for the function. Yes, so it is the function. So, okay, so we can fix that and I can show you that it won't change anything. So we can create a function called move and it can take a velocity and that's fine. And we can just do the exact same thing here. Ugh. Move inside, and here we can just call move, right? And then pass through the safe velocity. And so then did I make 3 zombies? Oh, you mean like the artwork? No, the artwork is provided by someone else. And then what we can do, if navigation agent is that, and then else move, and then just pass in new velocity, right? Internal caching limit, maybe. And then that's connected to a signal, I believe. And then we should be good to go. I'll try reducing the amount they slide on the walls, other objects to see if changes. Yeah, that's probably the thing I can do, right? Like reduce the amount of time it actually spends checking collisions. Like it's not that important. Because my question is like, if they're colliding with things, yeah, it won't make any difference. And here we are, we're back where we started. If we're colliding with like We have avoidance turned off, right? Yep. Yeah, I think I need to read more about the documentation for navigation agents, for sure. Safe margin's pretty slow, pretty low. Collision mode. Motion mode, grounded. Slide on ceiling. First is the navigation agent in terms of performance. What can we find? Post-processing? Basically, the advice in the doc says to reduce the amount of times that you're actually trying to get a path. So there's a function here where we are getting a path, which I can find. Get next position. Neighbor distance is set to 50. Seems a lot. When are you going to go live next? You mean tomorrow? I'll be live tomorrow. We're going to be playing more games from the Game Jam, which will be good. And I'll have Andre back on the stream as well, which should be fun. Am I sure? Yes, because I have an appointment with Andre, so I can't not do it. Blagus has a video where he reduces the path ticks to every 20 ticks, and it doesn't make a difference visually gameplay wise. Oh wow. Okay, interesting. Anyway, so you were saying that the path neighbor distance. Yeah, let's have a look at this. Yeah, but I don't have avoidance enabled, so it doesn't matter anyway. Let's open up all the enemies. Doesn't make a difference gameplay wise, but are they all turn performance? Hang on a second. Let's just make sure they've all got avoidance disabled. All the different types. He doesn't. Bad. And he does. Okay, there's just one. Doc says use set velocity on the navigation node in the physics process to update the agent. Doc says Doc says use set velocity on the navigation agent node in the physics process to update the agent with the current velocity of the agent's parent node. I'm setting the velocity manually. Interesting. Let's go. No, but we're on the right track here. Let's open up a tab. Navigation agents, yada, yada, yada. They've got like a little default 1A somewhere along here. Yeah, avoidance is not on. So they get next path position, new velocity. If so, you do a check here basically, and they pass to the same exact function, essentially. This is on a node 3D. Actor is a character body, adds a script, and basically we've got on velocity computed, and we've got safe velocity. This is from them. I don't think you'll want to turn it on either if you're going for high performance. No, you can't have avoidance enabled. It doesn't work anyway. I had an issue with avoidance. I was testing it out, and essentially for whatever reason the enemies were never transitioning to the attack state. Not entirely sure why. I didn't bother investigating. I just turned it off. They did behave better. I did like the way that they would, excuse me. I did like the way that they surrounded the player, which was nice with avoidance. With avoidance turned off, they all sort of just queue up. So there's not really much point to having that many zombies anyway. I basically copied and pasted this. Maybe am I calling the navigation finished? It's basically never finished if you're always running. If navigation, yeah, so I copied it, return. If global play is less than max distance, return, which is why it starts performing better when everyone is close to me. And then we've got set velocity. All right. For avoidance enabled, else move with new velocity. So we're not calling it, and because it's always this, we should be all good. We just set the velocity and then we call move and slide. Let's read a bit more. Maybe we can figure it out. Maybe there'll be a clue about like what causes performance issues. So the following navigation properties are height available for 3D, the height total. Yeah, we don't care about that. Rewatching his vid, he actually also sets the tick rate at 20 and starts randomly per enemy, so the enemies aren't all navigating on the 20th tick. Well, we can do that because I have a timer, right? I have a position update timer that's set to 1 second. I'm pretty sure I set that via code. Position update time equals direction update speed, right? So I've set this to auto start and not one shot, but if I make this one shot, I'm fine with auto start. In fact, I might turn that off. So we can say direction update speed, which is 1 second at the moment. I don't think I've set it to anything. In fact, I might take away the export factor, and so I can just set it via the script, so I don't have to set it on every single enemy. Make it 3 seconds. And what I'll do is I'll go, wait time is randf range, and we'll just make it between direction update speed and direction update speed plus 2, right? So it'll be between 3 and 5. That's fine. And then we'll start the position update. Okay. And we'll just need to do that now every time the timeout hits. Go to method. And so we'll get next position, and then we'll also set the wait time and start the timer. And it's quite long too. Like you're saying every 20 ticks, which is less than 1 second, right? So that's every 0.3 seconds. And I've set mine to like literally every 3 seconds. So you'd think the performance would be better, but maybe it is because they're getting called all at the same time. I would argue that because the zombies are spawned in at different times, you could try not computing the path if you're visible to the enemies and just move towards them instead. That's a really good point. So and I would also argue that it's not even to do with the navigation, because the problem isn't in that function. The problem is in the function where we're calling move and slide. So it's not really got anything to do with the navigation. It's more to do with the, are they spawning randomly? It's not random. You're right. It is actually just every 0.1 second. So let's see what happens. They're all just going to stand still for ages. Dude, they're so slow. They're just stacked on top of each other. We don't seem to be having as many performance issues. That is for sure. They're also not moving. So maybe that was the answer that we were looking for. Okay, we're getting to 100 zombies now before we hit the lag spike. But it could just be a factor of the zombies weren't moving. I see this is an absolute success. Turn off navigation, yeah. Good times, good times. Okay. Let's have a look. It's still in that move function. It's all in that move function. So it's really got nothing to do with the navigation, I don't think. Like let's be real. Like we've got the physics frame, the audio server. Where's the navigation server? It's not. It's barely on this list. It's not. Let's make this bigger. I can't even find it. The other thing is to not actually do collisions. You can just do a raycast to check if they're against the wall and then stop them moving. I can't even find it. Yeah, I don't know. Can you search this thing or what? The physics time. The safe margin thing is supposed to effectively stop movement if they're running against something, but it's so low already. Can you even... Do you make it higher? Is that the answer? Like, where is that? Safe... The safe margin. Let's have a read. Extra margin used for collision recovery when calling move and slide. If the body is at least this close to another body, it will consider them to be colliding. It will be pushed away before performing the actual motion. A higher value means it's more flexible for detecting collisions, which helps consistently detecting walls and falls. A lower value forces the collision algorithm to use more exact detection, so it can be used in cases where specific required position is low scale to avoid visible jittering or for a stack of character bodies. So I guess number up, then better. I don't know. Try increasing it by like 0.05. Default for movement is 0.08, I think. Okay, move and collide, but it looks like that one works with move and slide. Sounds like higher up equals better performance. They usually say though. Okay, let's just change it to 0.05 then. Also, I think the YouTube chat dropped off the screen. I don't know. That's why I mentioned move and collide, but it looks like that one works with move and slide. 0.08. Let's see what that does. And then I also want to reduce, because since we know now that the direction speed update can be lower, I'm going to make it 0.5, and I'm going to make this plus 0.5. There's a magic number for this. Okay. Higher up will wreck performance as there's tons of enemies colliding into things at the same time. Well, higher up will wreck performance if there's tons of enemies colliding into things at the same time. Okay. But then wouldn't we want to make this lower then? It was already 0.001. I guess I'm about to find out, aren't I? That's the purpose of this. Start the debugger. Can you also just spawn one enemy to make sure the enemies haven't adjusted? We haven't adjusted aren't the reason. Can you also spawn one enemy to make sure the enemies we haven't adjusted aren't the reason? And here we go, starting to lag. Okay, that guy's just on his face. Yeah, it's bad, eh? Do you have if navigation is finished, return? Yeah, I do. But the navigation is never finished. At the top of the physics function, no, I've got him able to look at the player as well. Like, and that's why, like, if I just walked up to all these enemies and they weren't actually trying to come towards me. So if I go to the world, we can do this as a test, right? Because you'll see pretty quickly, like, I'm glad I remembered to think about this because I was pretty much convinced that I'd fixed it based on just the fact that the performance was better at a single plane. But it's like, oh, maybe if you add objects to that, like, then it's like a problem. Odd that nothing changes in this case. Yeah. I only changed it on one. That's why I just realized I got 4. So I got to call it by code. Maybe just spawn one enemy. That'll be way easier for me to troubleshoot. Let me just turn off the sub viewport container. So I don't have to do that everything. And then go to the enemy spawner and not the enemy spawner, the base enemies, and just remove all the enemies except for enemy number 0, which is this one, this guy here. We're just going to be spawning this guy. That way we only have to work on one whose safe margin is set to that. Wrong one. So let's see if we can play around with this. Let's actually just like lead them down the other end where there is no collisions. They're just like throwing their knives at me. So we should be able to get up to like 100 zombies, no problems. And they bounce around a little bit, but that was like one enemy type is one. Yeah. No, it's a really good point because I had to keep changing these variables on all the different enemies. So now we can sort of observe that collisions aren't really a factor. They're also colliding with each other. Yeah, they're sort of bouncing around. And we've got 100 zombies on the map. And we're getting perfect frames right now. I don't have sprint. I need to like give myself cheats. But if we walk through that maze, what's going to happen? Like, is it going to start to chug? We're at 120 zombies. I guess that's the limit. No, we've got 150 to do. So if I start leading them through here, what's the outcome? They can't all fit, which is hilarious. It seems, yeah, and that's when it starts to chug, because they've got to navigate through a more narrow environment. And so we hit the ad break scared you, did it? And so, yeah, it is really, it's honestly the collisions that are like causing issues here. So, what do we do? How do we prevent collisions from causing so many calculations? We're forcing a incredibly large number of not rigid bodies. We're forcing an incredibly large amount of, I guess you just call them physics bodies, through a tiny space. And that's obviously leading to a performance issue. And part of me thinks probably the best way is just to design around this, right? Like maybe you don't need 150 zombies. Check general chat on Discord. The difference is, do you have like them going through objects? Because I would say like the biggest thing, the biggest difference, like I demonstrated this just before, where I can run around in the empty world and have no issues, but the minute I start trying to get them to come through a narrow space, and this is why there was a problem with the actual game itself, is because it was a fairly like narrow area. It was a subway, right? And so there was less space and there was more collisions to calculate. And so because of that, it just had performance issues. How do you get around that? I'm not entirely sure, because the problem isn't even with the navigation agent. The problem is with the collisions, and like it's just physics, man. Like, do you switch to what's the add-on? Do you switch to the other physics engine? Disable animations and also use, if they're going to be walls, can you disable animations and also use occlusion culling? I think that won't really matter, because it's more about actually getting the object to move through the space. Other physics engines are not more performant. Yeah, fair enough. I don't know. It's definitely something I want to overcome. Not because I need to have 200 zombies, but because I feel like 30 was too little. Or, I guess the easiest thing to say is I don't want to be limited by a cap on the number of objects in the scene. Like, I don't want to design a level that I think is awesome, and then it turns out that I have to go back to the drawing board because, like, the navigation agent can't handle it. Actually, it's not even the navigation. The physics engine just can't handle it. So I've got to probably do some research on, like, how we can sort of optimize the amount of character bodies we have in the scene. Maybe it needs to be a different body. Maybe it needs to be just a node 3D, and we can use raycast to detect the walls. Like, you know, whatever. Like, it's not that important, right? Try to, like, what if they were just, like, it's navigation, right? So, like, they're not even going to go through the walls. They don't need to be character bodies, right? Except to collide with the player. They don't need to collide with the world. They just need to collide with the player and each other, right? Have I tried Jolt? No. Like, what if they just didn't collide with the world? They don't need to. They're not influenced by gravity. I don't know. Like, if I didn't need them to, like, because they still need to navigate through it, right? Because they avoid colliding with the world anyway, since they only walk on the nav mesh. Exactly. They don't need to collide with the world. It makes no difference to them. Dude, did I just solve it? With the 60 zombies. That's it. They don't need to collide with the world. That's awesome. I got, like, the sound of the flipping zombies. Just turn master off. I literally turned off the world mask. The world sliding was a big problem, apparently. Yeah. And then, like, you get to the realization that they don't really need it. Like, if you had gravity, I suppose. But, like, they're not influenced by gravity. How far can we push it? You do see them going into the wall a little bit, but, like, that's mostly because they're colliding with each other. Like, can I double that number now? I think when we did the test, when there was no navigation, I think it capped out at about 300. Move and collide with the reduce safe. They spawn up some more zombies. Yeah, so the only issue now is that they do sometimes collide with the world, but obviously this is a very extreme example. Where there are just a lot of zombies. You forgot the nav mesh bakes path bakes out the no-go regions. Yeah. So like they won't even walk where they're not supposed to. So you don't really need to know that there's a wall there. The nav mesh knows that. Since the nav mesh has that information, we don't need to actually check for it. Hey guys, it's a party out here. We got like 200 zombies. Not really any performance issue. Like what can we get to? I think it caps out about 300 and there's just too many like PNGs on the screen. Should I start the profiler? Yeah, like at this point, like, I mean, I was happy with 150. Yeah, now we're starting to have issues at 260 zombies. Yeah, no, it never occurred to me until just before. And I'm not really sure what would be causing it now. Could it just be like the sheer number of knives being thrown at me? I don't know. Like, yeah, we can cap it. I'd even cap it lower, like maybe even 100. Like we know that we've got the headroom now and, you know, and we get into physics frame, like it is still the physics is the issue, right? I'm guessing it'll be the same thing. It's just them colliding against each other now. Move is still the like the most performant, and then smooth look. I never would have thought about that. So yeah, you know, we're still in that realm. Like it's enough. We don't need to worry too much anymore. That's the mob. Eventually the engine will grind to a halt. Yeah. The profiler is heavy. Yeah, that's true. I didn't turn it on until it started lagging. So at the end of the day, like that's better. Knowing that we can get to that number. I don't know, like maybe it's okay. Like I kind of want them to be affected by gravity, but we can figure that out and how that we can emulate that behavior, maybe. But we'll see. Oh, well, that's good progress. I think I'll call it there. It's 10:30, so it's bedtime. You guys have been really helpful. I really appreciate it. Where is all my things? Ah, we made it. I'm confused. What is the world? I meant to be like the physics of the actual ground. So like the CSG box. So essentially like the zombies don't collide with that anymore. But it doesn't matter because they use the nav mesh to actually get around. So they can't walk where the walls are. So they don't need to know that they can pass through them. They already think they can't. So I guess it's just a visual trick at the end of the day. I don't know how that's going to affect. So if I play the main game now, I need to do it on all the enemies. Actually, no, it's spawning up tons of zombies. It should be fine, right? I actually don't know what it's going to look like. I don't see any zombies. Oh, that's because it's the other end of the hallway. They're going to start coming around. So they still obviously look a bit funny, but we'll work on that. Like how they stop every so often. They seem to pass through the staircase. Yeah. We'll obviously need to work on some margin issues. Because, like, if you saw that, it's kind of game breaking. Like, the fact that they pass through the wall. Excuse me, guys. Sorry. I'm really sorry. I need to get through here. Current weapon damage by 100%. But yeah, we're at 120 zombies now, and it's like no issues in this particular level. So it's a big improvement. Obviously, we've got some other problems that we need to worry about, but I think we can fix those. Look at them come through the walls. Yeah, we probably need to narrow the margins on some of the navigation so that they definitely don't ever interact that way. I think a big part of that issue is the fact that there's so many trying to pass through. So maybe we can even turn on avoidance. I don't know. We'll see. All right. I'm going to hop off. You guys have been super helpful. Super helpful. Let's play this. Turn it up. I'll be back on tomorrow with Andre from Fan Studios UK. We'll be playing more games from the Zombie Game Jam. Even it is a lot for that environment. Yeah, it's too many. It doesn't need to be that many. I thought 50 was a good number. Yeah, really glad I had that little moment at the end there. It's very good. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate all the help that you guys are giving me. It makes a big difference to be able to like talk it through with people. It's really nice. Alrighty. Massive thank you to my Patreons and YouTube members. Do I have their names? I'll read them out. Give me a second. I can do it. I've got time. The song only goes for a minute though. Video projects. I need to like put a shortcut on my desktop for this. Pin it or something. Patreon. Shout out number 5. I haven't checked my Patreons in a while either. There might be more. Jips, Hollyhauser, Color Pants, Rab, Big Green, Nike, Jice, and Bricky T for sure. And I forget the guy on YouTube. I need to like add his name to this list. He's a champion for being a part of it. Either way. YouTube members. Chris. Thank you so much, Chris, for being a YouTube member. I really appreciate it. Alrighty, guys.